Hello everybody, it is the Hebrew Jamaican Coolie back again with another video. This video will be titled Fathers, do not forget to hug your sons and tell them that you love them. I've spoken many times about what men my age went through when we were children. And I think, I'm glad I'm seeing a lot more videos on YouTube speaking on this issue about how the generation before us failed us in several different ways. Several different ways the generation before us failed us and how we can do better. Right? One of the main things I talked about, and I know a lot of men talk about, is how our fathers were drunkards. How our fathers, rather than take care of the home, went out and chased tail. Went out and had another family. And you have people on the internet talking about how, the house was taken care of, right? They provided, right? That doesn't make it right. That doesn't make what that person did right. And I'm sick and tired of men. And you guys are, to me, in my opinion, a toxic man. For basically saying that it was okay for a man to go out there and have more than one family in different places. Now, it would have been a different scenario or a different case if this family was, if these two women were living under the same roof. It was one big entire happy family. Right? And I'm going to say why. And I'm going to use my life as an example. I mean, I've put the stories out there on YouTube, but with more following now, at least the message can reach more men, which is my objective right now. Reaching more men with sensibility right now. You understand? Because we can't live like this. We can't live like this. There's a generation that failed us. They failed us financially. They failed us educational wise. They failed us emotionally as well. They failed us like they never taught us to be men. They didn't teach us how to be men. They only taught us how to get a woman. How to get women in bed. They did not teach us how to live with women. They didn't teach us how women behave. We had to figure those things out on our own. And personally speaking, I learned most of the things that about women from the Bible itself. Because the Bible taught me about Jezebels. And then through my own experience from the age of 14, dating from the age of 14, coming right up, I had to learn the rest on my own. My father didn't teach me anything about women. You understand? That's why even in Jamaican society, like, people talk about this all the time. You have certain men that are gallus. You understand? When you hear say a man is a gallus and them thing there, that's the Jamaican term for player. A man who gets a lot of women. Right? And the reason for that is because he, like some of these guys, they didn't have a father to teach them how to get and stick with one woman. Because so many of us saw our fathers chasing tail and everything. You know what I mean? So many of us saw our fathers chasing tail rather than raising us. And then when they did have an interaction with us, it was never anything positive. It was rarely positive. You understand? It was either the fist or the stick with them. They take you out back and they beat the shit out of you. And then that's so grown men are her. And you have stupid men in society still pushing this idea of trauma. I was talking to a best friend of mine last night. And did you know, like, 4 friends in our friendship group went through the same practical situation. Drunk fathers beating their wives and not raising us properly. And then we grow up and we avoid all those things because we saw how bad it was. How bad it was. No, we have to talk about these men. We have to talk about how horrible these men were. We keep talking about how men are the leaders. What are they leading? What have they led? They led many of us down a gateway and a doorway to destruction. A hallway to destruction. Because that's the life that they lived. Who the frick drinks so early in the freaking morning? White rum and freaking Coke and milk. I know a lot of you know what I'm talking about. One freaking car fixing a car and the man is fixing up a freaking white rum, Coke and milk in the morning. I have to run down to the bar that's down the street and get those ingredients for him to mix his friggin' drink. Midday. Morning just start and that's what you're doing during the morning, right? They failed us. They didn't leave shit for us. That man ain't leaving shit. You understand? Oh, got reverence for him. Like people say, oh, he's such a nice. I like, yo, F that man. F that mother effer man. You understand? I tried like several times to be peaceful about this with the man. But when I look back at my life and stuff like that, there was not like the only positive thing that I could take away from my relationship with my father is the fact that I know how to fix cars. And I still haven't even gotten to the meat of the matter. Right? These men did not know how to love their sons. They never know how to love us. Either they didn't know or they refused. They absolutely refused to love us. They refuse to love us. Like, who looks at a young boy and calls him a girl for friggin' crying? Who does that? And that's why we have women in society treating men like pieces of shit. Because we're taught that they're the ones who cry the most and whatever it is, and that their cries are weaknesses to us. And then when we end up crying, which is a natural human thing, right? We're moving from men and women. It's a natural human reaction to pain and grief and suffering. Pain, grief, and suffering, you will cry. And they called us girls for doing it. Rather than teach us, like I said before, I've been teaching my son how to cry less. And the importance of crying less. And the importance of understanding his own feelings and his own emotions of crying less. And why there's a need for him to cry less. Even though he's a little boy, I can teach him just, okay, cry it out, but try to cry in the corner. Don't cry all around the place. Cry in this one spot. I'm teaching him to mask it, to cry somewhere else. Or to cry, well, I don't think no man should feel unsafe to cry amongst his friggin' parents or his friggin' peers. And then women talking about men created this. No, you created this too. Because you mock men who cry and you treat them like friggin' shit. Because you lived with that trauma as well, that any man who expresses certain emotions is a friggin' woman. So don't come here and pretend that men alone created that toxic environment for children. You had a healthy hand in it. Healthy. A very healthy hand in it. For creating such a toxic society that we had to friggin' live in. I was never taught to fight by my father. I had to learn how to fight on my own. I really and truly think that was something that he should have taught me. Which is something I teach my children right now. I teach them how to fight because what? I was once a black belt. I may be washed up, but I was once a black belt. You know? So I teach my boys. One of them not old enough to like move, him just start walking. Right? But I will be teaching him and my third son how to fight. Once my daughter get the gist of fighting as well, she's gonna learn a little bit more. I taught my sister, my younger sister, how to fight. Basic self-defense. Things I really and truly think my father should have invested in teaching us. But he didn't. He didn't teach us shit. Didn't teach us shit. Other than how a woman should be beaten. And how to come home drunk. How to treat your children poorly. How to go out and have a family. And abandon your main family that that your wife has for you. We grew up in a society of men that basically, I don't care what you went through. My father was like, oh, his father threw him out at the age of 14. That doesn't mean shit to me. So why didn't you break that friggin' cycle? So your father was right for kicking you out at the age of 14 when you didn't have your friggin' life together? And then you had to friggin' live on the friggin' bus stop? That was something good for you? That was something for you to basically tell us as a story of triumph? What the frick is my friggin' son doing at a friggin' bus stop at the age of friggin' 14? Why the frick would I do something so damn stupid to him and cruel? Cruel! You got cruelty and you exacted it on us. There's a generation that grew up with cruelty and they exacted that same cruelty 4 generations coming down. I know I didn't really get to the matter, but you know, it was bothering me. I see how my son behaves every day when I leave off for work. You guys see the videos. This is every day. I have videos of this. Constant videos of my son crying his tears out and I have to console him before I go to work. And I appreciate it because that's my son, my children missing me before I go to work. I never had that with my father. I never had that love and that bond with my father to miss him. When I started to build that bond with my father, I do remember trying to build that bond of missing him and wanting to be around him. My father was chasing friggin' tail and building another family elsewhere. This is the Hebrew Jamaican Kool-Aid. That was part 1. I'm gonna come up with part 2 again. I'm sorry for not really sticking to the topic. Peace, I'm out.